Hi, it's Charlie McCann from Stan James. Welcome to a preview of this weekend's Premier League action, and what a weekend of action it is. Everybody else has had the twopence worth in the Wayne Rooney saga. I think saga's isn't too big a word. For what it's worth, as I say, my reaction is that I think he will end up at Manchester City, and I have my reasons. I remember when he was back at Everton and he was allowed, I think, 4 main sponsors. They were EA Sports, they were Coca-Cola, there was one other, I think, and Nike was one. And again, it is possible that there was a nurturing of a relationship between Nike and Wayne Rooney, and of course Wayne's agent, which is Paul Stretford. And I don't know, I think it may be just a coincidence now. I might be putting one and one together and making 3, but the two main players in that relationship at Nike, or 2 of the main players, were Brian Marwood and Gary Cook. And of course Gary Cook is now the chief exec at Manchester City, and Brian Marwood, I think, is the football administrator. And it is possible. I think Paul Merson so succinctly put it on in the midweek sports special on Sky, that I think Wayne already knows where he's going. He's now had this sort of retreat from Moscow and sort of supported Fergie, but I think there is, if not a done deal, I certainly think that somebody has turned his head, and I think that the turning has been done by Manchester City. Spurs play Everton in the first game, 12:45. Spurs, if there hadn't been for those 3 second half goals, they'd be on a bit of a hiding in the San Siro, and Harry wouldn't have liked that, from Rafael Benitez. And there wasn't much love lost between them, but as it turned out, the great Gareth Bale got 3 back. Everton, of course, on the back of 2 famous 2-0 victories. They hadn't beaten Blues, I think, for a long time. Nobody beaten Blues at St Andrews for a long time, and then of course to win the Merseyside derby with a weakened team, and that team is weakened again on Saturday with no Mikel Arteta. Let's get it right, Spurs have got big injury problems as well, certainly in the central defence, but Arteta won't play. But I've heard that Stephen Pienaar is fit, and Pienaar, of course, may well be in the shop window, because I think it's fair to say he'll be leaving Everton probably in the January transfer window, and Spurs are one of the suitors. Landon Donovan missed an open goal when Everton should have got a point last year, and last season rather. I think we will draw. And it wouldn't surprise me again if a 2-2 scoreline, which it should have been last season. Birmingham versus Blackpool. Birmingham 10-11 against the Tangerines, and that's 2 things. Because they've lost their way somewhat, Birmingham, and of course, more interesting, absolutely wonderful it's been to see the form and the way this Ian Holloway team goes forward. Just Charlie Adam, almost, as I say, somebody again said, almost like a quarterback. He's beautiful, his cultured left foot, Charlie Adam. I remember last year when he was introduced to me, not introduced personally to me, but he was saying to me, they're saying, this fellow, he's a loose cannon, he's likely to get booked every other week. Well, he's been an absolute breath of fresh air, and what a wand he's got with that left foot. But Birmingham have got to win this. McLeish will be in trouble if they don't, and I think Blues will win 10-11. Can you imagine at the start of the season, Blues against, we all thought they would be marooned by this time, Blackpool, and as it turned out, they have been the Ian Holloway Manager of the Year. Who knows? Chelsea 8-1 on with really, really thoroughly professional performance in Moscow, and I think they will have enough for Wolves. Of course, they'll park the bus, and it may not be the score people suggest it will. Sunderland versus Aston Villa. This wouldn't be one of my bets I'm interested in. Is Sunderland. I thought they were quite good against Blackburn Rovers. Okay, you're going to say that they didn't score and it was against 10-man Blackburn, but Blackburn are never easy to break down. And again, I've not yet been inspired by this new Gerard Houllier team. Not like everybody else seems to be taking in with this renaissance in the career of people like Nigel Reo-Coker. Never have been a fan of his, and I think Sunderland will win. And okay, of course, we know there's too much emphasis on Darren Bent scoring goals, but when Guillaume gets fit, I thought he was good in the World Cup, and not great, I must say, but little bits of what he's shown so far, and I'm just concerned he's, here we are 8 games into the Premier League season, and 2.5 months into the Premier League season, he doesn't seem to be getting any fitter. But I think there's got to be a time when Steve Bruce plays him. I think they will win West Brom Fulham. I think this will be a draw, and 6-5 with Stan James for West Brom. Fulham 23-10, 9-4 the draw. I think 9-4 the draw is a fair spark he won't like. The form Fulham are in, they probably need a win to steady the ship, but West Brom are difficult to beat at the Hawthorns, and I think that's a draw. I think there'll be a draw in the Lancashire derby between Wigan and Bolton. Wigan 11-8, Bolton 2s and 9-4 the draw there. West Ham I think will beat Newcastle, and again you've got naughty strikers both sides, with Andy Carroll and of course one of the West Ham strikers who was accused early in the weekend of some impropriety, but West Ham 13-10, I think they will have enough, too much for Newcastle, 9-4 the draw at that one. West Ham for me. Stoke Man United, this is one of those games that Wayne's been on about, this ambition, this if I can't remember Wayne scoring many goals at Stoke, I must say, in the recent past, but this is a game really is that they've been drawing these type of games so far this season. They've got to get those wins if they want to bridge the gap between themselves and Chelsea, and with Chelsea at home to Wolves, it's unlikely that a draw will suffice for Manchester United. And I think they'll win 8-11, 4-1 for a home win, and 5-2 the draw. Liverpool versus Blackburn, it's a fascinating game. Obviously this is going out before the game in Naples this evening, 6 o'clock start. Liverpool of course have shown their intention by leaving out 2 or 3 of their key players, of course, including Gerrard and Torres for this game. They've got to be ready, and they've got to be ready as well as physically, but mentally for this game against Blackburn. No Christopher Samba, but no seam that Allardyce built is going to roll over. The longer this game goes 0-0, there is going to be murmurings of discontent. Whatever happens in Naples today, and again, I'm afraid to say this, football violence I'm afraid may well be the headlines in this, but Liverpool, I think they will get back to winning ways. It may not be pretty, but a win is what Liverpool need, and 4-6 for ourselves at Stan James for that, 9-2 for Blackburn to add further woe on Roy Hodgson, who is, let's get it right, under real threat, and 5-2 the draw. The big game of the weekend, 11-8 Manchester City, they play Lech Poznan tonight, and Tevez is hoping to Mancini to be able to rest Tevez, and there's too much emphasis on Tevez as well. 9-4 the draw, and 2-1 for Arsenal. I think Arsenal will win. I think Arsenal are due a bit of luck. I remember a couple of times they've had a look at Anfield in the recent past, but in none of these big games, say against Chelsea, Manchester United, they've had much of luck, and I quite like the look of this this Arsenal side. And Shamak, not everybody's cup of tea perhaps, but he keeps getting goals, he keeps getting penalties, and with the captain back, the great Cesc Fabregas back, I just think this maybe it'd be better for Arsenal to go into Eastlands and let maybe Manchester City come on. And I think that 2-1 for Arsenal is, I think, a fair price. 2-1 Arsenal. Also Sunderland and West Ham would be my trio, but it's very, very interesting. Wayne's World is going to be where? 2011, will it still be Old Trafford? Will it be in the San Siro? Will it be in the Bernabeu? Will it be in the Camp Nou? I think it'll still be in Manchester, but at Eastlands. Be lucky.